أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you and welcome to our next lesson on the philosophy of ethics. After the initial lessons on ethics and the different views on the philosophy of ethics, we dive into certain theories such as the theory of emotionalism, and then just last meeting we proceeded to conscience theory by Immanuel Kant. Now, let's take a look at another theory on the philosophy of ethics, which is the theory of beauty. So, before we begin the lesson, I would like to give you few seconds, few moments to think of a beautiful act. Take note, beautiful act, not a beautiful object. Okay. So by the end of this lesson, the students, we are expected to be able to first explain how moral education changes when ethics is tied to beauty. Second, to distinguish sensory, imaginative, and rational beauty. Third, to trace beauty from perception to love and action. And finally, to evaluate whether justice and honesty can be beautiful. So let's begin the lesson by a core question at the very beginning. Can an honest act be beautiful even when it causes loss for the one doing it? Okay. To answer this question, we have to understand that moral beauty is perceived, though not captured by a formula as we do it in the usual things. One reason is definitional limit. A beauty may be experienced without a complete genus and differential definition. Remember our subject on logic. A lack of a formula does not erase the reality which is perceived. Another reason is the relative encounter. What we mean is that perception varies with the beholder. Yet we reject the claim that beauty is nothing but projected desire. So beauty moves the person from perception toward action because of the attractiveness of the beauty as perceived by the beholder. Then it would move him or her to action. So first is the element of perception. The person apprehends harmony, excellence, or nobility as forms of beauty. And this beauty awakens the sense of admiration in him or her, love and desire rather than remaining neutral information. And because of that, this attraction can shape conduct. One seeks, preserves, imitates, or embodies what appears to be beautiful. So the field of beauty or the scope of beauty actually extends beyond the sensory perceptions. A visible form is only one register of beauty. Why? Because eloquence belongs to imagination and meaning. Justice, sense of justice, belongs to rational perception. So moral education trains the person to see more than the surface charm, meaning to see more than the physical. So here we have to differentiate the beautiful or beauty that we perceive through the senses as well as through rational intellection. So in the sensory area, we see the form, the color, the sound, fragrance, and these are perceived through bodily faculties. And this includes nature and the art. Whereas in the rational arena, we can see, for example, justice, honesty, proportion, perceived by the intellect, and its opposite is moral ugliness. For example, we see oppression and injustice as something that is ugly, something that is loathsome and detestable. So, a theory of moral beauty changes how character is taught. For example, learners must first notice the form of honesty, trust, and justice. And then the repeated exposure refines attraction toward nobility rather than just the display. And because of this attraction, the admired conduct becomes a pattern that one wants to embody. And because of the repetition of this, knowledge, love, and will still matter. And beauty does not reign alone. So there is the form of integration that happens in a person. Now, we mentioned eloquence as a form of beauty as we perceive it. So here, there are actually three forms of eloquence that show beauty acting on the soul of a person. One is, of course, the Quran itself, wherein its meaning arrive in a form that moves listeners to tears, humility, and frustration. Another example is Nahjul Balagha, which is a collection of speeches and sayings of Ali ibn Abi Talib, which is actually taught in Al Azhar University, among others, especially in Arabic language and literature. So the eloquence of the Imam's words actually preserved them even among the opponents, even among his enemies. So that is an example of beauty in oration. Another form of eloquence can be found in poetry. For example, in the poetry of Hafiz and Rumi, which are who are known Muslim poets. Here, mental and spiritual beauty can absorb the reader beyond sensory form. On the rational level, we mention also justice. Justice becomes attractive when its inner proportion is seen. For example, a teacher refuses to favor a talented student and applies the same standard to all. So the choice may disappoint a friend, yet the balance between persons, rule, and responsibility displays rational beauty. And the act is not merely correct, it has moral form, it is beautiful. So when we talk about justice, we also gather four elements. One is order, fitness, integrity, and attraction. So it's like cases receive like treatment. And when we say fitness, the rule serves the purpose of assessment. And private affection does not distort judgment of the teacher. And finally, the act invites respect and imitation by others. So in the end, let us contemplate on this question. What makes justice beautiful? So describe the moral form you perceive. Name what threatens that form. And finally, explain how perception can guide action. So do you think the theory of beauty as one of the theories on the philosophy of ethics is something that is acceptable to us? So leave your comments on our discussion forum in our online platform. So next meeting, we will also take a look at another important theory on the philosophy of ethics. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.